Hello, this is Tom and Chris. We're those film guys. Welcome to another trailer breakdown, or should I say, multiple trailer breakdowns? Because today we'll be looking at three trailers: The Hobbit, Iron Man 3, and the Evil Dead remake, the red band trailer that's just been released for that. So, let's get started with The Hobbit's new trailer. And to start with, I think we should go into what we both thought about the trailer itself. Chris, would you like to start us off?
Yeah, I'm really excited, especially, I know I've said this a few times, that Lord of the Rings is my favourite film of all time. I see all three as one. So it's just seeing Middle Earth again on the big screen, and just giving this taster, it just looks amazing. Um, Not sure about the comedic tone. I know that the book is a lot more light-hearted than the Lord of the Rings, and that may detract from me liking it better than or equal to Lord of the Rings, but I still think it looks amazing, and just seeing these characters and the world back again.
Yeah, well, my opinion is that I'm under the impression that I dislike Martin Freeman quite heavily. I think he's a wet
Yeah, I
blanket
do as
whenever
well.
he's on screen. He's not very likable presence, and I just don't particularly think he can act at all. So, and I also don't. I also then know the comedic elements. I mean, it is a lot more light-hearted book. The comedic elements are there, and but I also don't. I also find the use of really heavy CGI a bit of a distraction. And I know, of course, the original Lord of the Rings trilogy had heavy, massive amounts of CGI, but it was blended in such a way where you could perceive it as reality. And it did have that element of fantasy. In this, it just seems like they're using CGI. To me, it doesn't seem like it's blended very well, but of course that's judging from the trailers alone. So I'll have to see the film before I can really make a judgment on it.
Yeah, I did notice that myself. It does seem a lot more cleaner and a lot more, clinical than the Lord of the Rings perhaps did. Yeah, I can see where you're coming from there. I don't think that's particularly a problem. I mean, they're still using practical elements. They're still using costume and makeup and stuff like that. So I think we'll have to see the entire film as a whole before we can comment on that. But yeah, highest praise from me from this new trailer. Seeing Gollum again in the trailer was a particular highlight, and that whole end shot with the rock giants on the mountain, that to me looks absolutely breathtaking. I can't wait to see that on the big screen.
Yeah. It just gets a meh from me, a pass. That's all I can really say about it. It doesn't entice me the way the first trailer did.
I have to say that the soundtrack used in this trailer didn't excite me as much as the dwarven song from the first trailer did. So maybe if that song had been blended with this one, it would have been a better trailer. But I still like the trailer. I like both in different ways, to be
Yeah.
honest.
So is that? Do you have anything else to add to that, or should we
No,
move on?
I think we've covered it. Yep, let's
Okay.
move on. We'll move on to Iron Man 3, which will be the latest Marvel film after the event of Avengers. So we're getting Iron Man 3. So what did you think of this trailer, Tom?
It it looks good, but from the trailer, I think it looks meh. But and it's hard to explain because I think it will be a good film, and it will most definitely be better than 2, because 2 was absolutely
Oh,
atrocious.
definitely, yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, it just got a meh from me, and I can see what they're trying to do with it. I can see what they're trying. He doesn't want to be Iron Man anymore, and all this and that and the other, and it just seems that the one thing I noticed in the trailer, Ben Kingsley as the villain looks absolutely ridiculous, and that's not a criticism. That might not be a criticism on the film itself, but it sort of took me by surprise in the trailer. But yeah, it just looks meh, I think. but still, I think it'll definitely be better than 2.
It definitely is a different look to Ben Kingsley than we usually see. But I watched this trailer and I was absolutely just taken aback at how good this film looks. It does follow the typical superhero convention of being the next in the step that the superhero is questioning whether he wants to be the superhero anymore, whether the people in his life, like Pepper Potts, the love interest, are more important to them than being the superhero. So it is following that typical formula, but I think that the tone that was set in this trailer, especially the soundtrack choice for this trailer, really added an element of, I almost want to say, epic to this. Because Iron Man, whilst a good film, it didn't really have a huge epic punch that most superhero films did. Iron Man 2, forget. But this one looks like they've completely upped the stakes of it, and I like that it's continuing from the events of Avengers. However, the problem with that is, how will they write around that the Avengers won't come to Tony Stark's rescue? I think that the villain, the Mandarin, I actually thought he looks really good, and considering how he looks in the comic, I think that they have done their best to kind of modernise him and not make him completely overly ridiculous considering his powers. And I also like the questions that this trailer raises, such as, why is the Iron Man suit kind of turned evil? Is someone in the suit? Is it being controlled on its own? Or, there's a lot of questions that are raised in this trailer, and we've only got to wait till April, so it's not that long a wait till the film comes out.
Yeah.
And that's really all I have to say on it.
Okay. And now we move to the big climax of this sort of brief trailer breakdowns that we've done in this video. The Evil Dead remake trailer, the Red Band trailer. Chris, would you like to start us off?
Thank you very much. I love the original Evil Dead film by Sam Raimi. I think for what it is, it's a great testament to horror on a budget. The acting's not particularly great, but it's a fun horror film. This trailer stands testament to why I hate remakes so much, when they're not necessary and they're just not necessary. I mean, people today still talk about Evil Dead, especially the first 2, and this is just a gore fest. The whole point of this trailer is to shock the audience through gore. You have the shot at the end with the girl cutting a tongue in half. You have the woman cutting her arm off with a buzzsaw. And it's too much. The acting doesn't particularly look great. There is no mention or clear glimpse of Ash, who is the main character. And it's just been there, done that. It doesn't look any different from the original in terms of the material and the content that will be in the film. And this is why I hate remakes, especially horror remakes, so much.
I don't actually think Ash is in it.
Isn't he?
I don't think so.
Well, there's another notch as to why this film looks terrible. You're taking the main character and the staple of the series out.
But yeah, I understand what you mean, and it's sort of reiterating my point in my like I said that horror films now are just relying too much on jump scares, and I know that it's supposed to be a horror comedy, but it doesn't particularly look very funny. No,
I mean, even the original is probably the least comedic out of the 3. But it still did have an element of dark humour and tongue-in-cheek humour about it.
Yeah.
Even the first one. This one looks absent of that.
I don't know how I feel about it. I just think, it doesn't interest me to go and see it. I love the original film, and it doesn't really interest me to go see a remake of it. So I think I'll skip this, and it's just like, why? What's the point? The original's still talked about today. Why remake it? If it's such a highly popular horror comedy, and also because of the fact that it as you said, it's a testament to horror on a budget, and without the original, you won't learn how to make a good horror film on a budget, and I don't think you need a remake to do that.
No, and another thing that I saw from this trailer is the same that we talked about with The Hobbit. It looks very clean. It all looks very sleek, even though it's in kind of in the shadows most. It still looks clean. The original has a very grainy and very moody tone to it, almost like the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
And that really added to the effect of the film for me. But yeah, this one, it does, even as a remake, even as a purported reinvention of the Evil Dead series, and it doesn't look like it's doing anything new with the formula or even the new horror formula. It looks like any generic horror film that you'd see nowadays. There is nothing standout in this trailer.
No, I don't. I completely agree with that, and yeah, this will be one to majorly avoid, I think. I believe.
I will probably end up going to see it just because the curiosity of it will probably get the better of me, but from this trailer I'm really not sold on it so far. I know we'll no doubt get another trailer that might show Ash off if he is in it, but nope, no praise from me.
No, it does look rather boring and crap.
Yeah.
So, I think that's really all we can say for those 3 trailers and our opinions on what we think the films will be like.
Yep.
So, thanks for watching this trailer breakdown. Rate, comment and subscribe as per usual. And we hope to see you next time. Thanks very much, guys, for watching.
Thank you.